Full review of my little Scythe with my kids and how we played it. First, let's do the tutorial. Setting up is pretty easy. I played a 4-player game, so I set the starting locations like that. Right here, marked on the board, 4-player game. Then you're going to place these cards on the board, labeled for you. Then place the magic cards. This is for the discard for the magic. Then give each player one of these cards and put the rest back in the box. Don't forget to put the green lightning cards here and the blue lightning or power-up cards over here. Now you take this octagon and put it on the middle of the board. Then you spin it around, flip it up. Then put the corresponding resources right outside the base camps that exist. Over here, there's diamond, diamond, apple. I put diamond, diamond, apple. I put each player's friendship token on the starting location and their pie location. Their pie token on the pie location, starting on the track. That's it, you're ready to play. On a player's turn, they'll choose to move, seek, or make. Once they choose a move, they will put this marker down. If I chose to move this turn, I cannot do the same thing the next turn. So children need to be reminded to keep the marker there until their next turn. And then their next turn, they could do something else or something else. You cannot do the same exact circle that you did the previous turn. Now here, it even explains what to do. You could either move 2 spaces or you can move 1 space carrying items. Here, you could roll die that give you extra apples and 1 dice that gives you a diamond and 1 that puts down a scroll, or you could get 2 diamonds instead of 2 apples. Make, you could either get 2 pies, which make your pies go up, use 2 diamonds to get a magic card, or do a an apple and a diamond to get a power-up card. The blue power-up card makes your movement better. It makes your make better. I got an extra choice. And the green one makes your movement better. I'm gonna decide to seek more diamonds. So what I'm gonna do is roll 2 blue die, 1 red dice, and 1 yellow dice. Here I'll put an apple on a gray location, which is here, one of these. A scroll on one of the yellow locations here. A diamond on the green locations, which are there. And a diamond on the gray locations, which is here. Now, if I decide to put any of these things where someone already is, well, only the apples and diamonds, I'm sorry. But here, there's a gray apple and a gray diamond. If I decide to put on an empty hex, nothing happens. But if I give it to somebody, my friendships go up by 1 each. If you enter someone's space, you start a pie fight. Look at the pie chart. Then you will use one of these things. Yellow, since they have 5, could bid up to 5 pies or use up to 5 pies in the fight. White could use up to 4. However, you do not need to use all of it. Maybe white only wants to use 3, and they have a magic card. So with their magic card, they could add 2 more. Or they could just use 0 pies and add 2 more with magic. However many pies they use, that's how many they'll go down. Loser will return to their starting location, get 2 pies or a magic card, and then remember the rule I told you about the card that you can't take the same move twice? Well, it resets. Basically, your kids could remove the marker from the card. If it's here, just move it here. And they could take any move they want next turn. Winner, however, or actually not the winner, but the attacker, the person who moved into the space. So in this case, yellow moved into white space. Yellow will lose a friendship. And each time they start a fight, they'll lose a friendship. If they drop to 2 or below in friendship, they cannot win any more trophies. Trophies is how you win the game. Card, you have 4 trophies. If your friendship reaches 8, you get a trophy. If you get both the green and the blue power-ups, you get a trophy. If you make 3 magic cards, you get a trophy. If you do 2 quests, I'll teach you how to do that, you get a trophy. If you win a pie fight, you get a trophy. If you get 8 pies, you win a trophy. If you deliver 4 apples to the middle, you get a trophy. If you deliver 4 diamonds to the middle, you get a trophy. As soon as someone gets 4 trophies, everyone else has 1 more turn to get 4 trophies and then do a tiebreaker. The rulebook explains how to break ties. But if no one else gets 4 trophies, the person with 4 trophies win. To get to the middle, you'll either have to be on a portal and teleport there. These portals are considered adjacent, so you could teleport anywhere. And the only way you can enter the middle, however, is through the portals or be right next to it. But you need at least, or exactly 4 diamonds to do that. Just like that. You need at least 4 diamonds, or exactly 4 diamonds and exactly 4 apples. If you have extras, you have to leave some behind. Seekers could only move 1 space when they're carrying. What you could do is move this here and then move like that. Remember, this is for each seeker. Seeker moves to where a scroll is. You draw a quest card. You get 3 options. Usually the red option, you lose a friendship. And with a no thanks, the card goes back into the bottom of the pile. If you can't do the blue one, you can't do the blue one. It is where it is. However, if you do the blue and red one, you discard the card and it's out of the game. If you do the bottom, the scroll stays there and the card goes to the bottom of the deck. However, if you do the other 2, the scroll disappears. And if you get 2 scrolls, you actually get to keep the scrolls. If you get 2 scrolls, you get a trophy. The way I made my kids keep track of their scrolls was they put it on their player card. Just like that. Just like that, so we could keep track of it. So my experience with my kids. On the first playthrough, I had to explain a little bit more. But they loved the game so much, we kind of played it back to back 3 times. And the only thing they really needed help on was these magic cards. They could reading comprehension. They're not magic cards. These personality cards. It basically makes them earn a trophy, 1 trophy more easily. And then they just needed my help explaining what each of these things were, each of the quests and what they have to do. Very minimal help. They got it. They usually needed more help with the personality cards. And they want me to get the expansion. They really liked it because for my younger daughter, she's very competitive. She likes to fight. My older one likes cooperative play. And in this game, you get rewarded for doing both, for having a pie fight or giving your opponent an apple or diamond to raise your friendship. Also, if your kids are into griefing, if the friendship level is too low, they cannot win any trophies. So they can't get addicted to griefing. Also, they have limited amount of pies, so that's a limited amount of pie fights they could get into. So you can't grief your opponent. You get rewarded for helping them, even though it's a competitive game. So all my kids actually like this. This is beautifully organized with some empty compartments for future expansions. And the miniatures, you could actually paint them if you wanted to. And it's beautifully organized. Personally, I don't think this should be your first buy, but I think it should be a definite buy down the road because it has so many systems of worker placement, resource management, and map control, that I do think this is an important game if you're in this hobby, because this game will set the basis of other games that you play, and your kids will more easily be able to understand other games. But is this a first buy? If your kids have never played board games, don't buy this first. There is an expansion, and my kids want it, and I'll be getting it. And what that expansion does is make each of the, what do you call it, races or species or whatever, unique. And because right now, the way they simplified Scythe, because this game is from Scythe, My Little Scythe, the children's version of Scythe, is they took away the uniqueness of each faction. However, in the expansion to My Little Scythe, the factions do become more unique. And that could be a problem because my 5-year-old always wants to play the puppies or always wants to play what looks cool to him that day, which is fine, but it kind of hurts, kind of upsets me and the older kids who like to play for competitiveness. My 5-year-old was engaged. He loved to do the seek option because he gets to roll 5 dice. And then if he puts the resources on his sister's spaces, he sees his friendship chart go up. And then once it gets to a certain point, I think it's 10, he gets to score a trophy. So he really loved that. As far as griefing, my second daughter, my 6-year-old, does like to attack and pie fight, and she likes to grief. But what she did to be able to grief is she first did a lot of seek options and gave her siblings a lot of apples and diamonds to raise her friendship score. And then she started griefing. But at that point, her siblings had resources that they didn't mind the attacks. Also, there is a solo play for this game. So if some of your kids don't want to play and only one wants to play, they could play by themselves. As a parent, this game actually gave me confidence because sometimes games are hard to explain, and this is one of the most complicated games. And because I was able to explain this is making me more confident to get games that are a little bit above their age range. So definitely check this out, because this game does teach you, as a parent, how to guide your kids in playing board games.